Hello and welcome to Restore 2023. Today we're looking at Psalms 95 and 96, which are united by their theme of the Lord as King and flow naturally into one another. In Psalm 95, the Lord is called the Great God as compared to the gods, lowercase. This term may refer to earthly princes or angels, to heavenly powers or authorities, or maybe the local idols of the surrounding nations. But the point is the same regardless. God is over them all and reigns supreme. He is no mere national deity, an assumption that people at the time may have made. This point is picked up again in Psalm 96. Again, the Lord is compared to the gods, but this time they are called out for what they truly are, idols. So what makes the Lord so much higher than these false gods? Well, it's explained for us in Psalm 95. He is the creator, the one who formed the dry land. He is the sustainer, the one who even now holds the depths of the earth and the mountain peaks together. And he is the redeemer, the one who has made Israel into a nation and who intervenes for them, who watches over them like a shepherd does his flock. And this emphasis on who the Lord is so important in these psalms, because his identity really shapes and defines our own identity. He is maker, we are creatures. We are the flock, he is the shepherd. And this right relationship between God and man is the basis of all human flourishing. And as soon as we lose sight of that, things start to go wrong for us. Another common thread in these psalms is a call to worship this great God, who is both the sovereign Lord of the universe and our personal God. In Psalm 95, this call is directed primarily to those who consider themselves the people of his pasture, which originally would have meant the people of Israel. In Psalm 96, this call extends to all nations and peoples, a recognition that the Lord is in fact the God of all nations. Psalm 95 reminds us that worship involves the whole being, singing, thanksgiving, bowing, kneeling, listening and responding. Above all, it is being brought low and realising that the God who created the universe is also our maker. He cares about us as people. In Psalm 96, the whole of creation itself seems to be worshipping, and given that, it would feel unnatural for any one part of it to refuse to do so. Verse 9 reminds us that we can only truly worship when we recognise the holiness of God and our own unworthiness by comparison. Again, we must keep in mind that right relationship between his identity and ours. We also catch a glimpse here of the original intent between God choosing one nation out of all those on earth. Worship and the good news of God's kingdom was meant to spread outwards like a ripple, from Israel to the rest of the world, until all nations acknowledge his kingship. Indeed, verse 13 looks ahead to a time when the Lord will come to reign and judge the earth in person, when he will come to reign in practice as well as in fact. This clearly refers to the coming of the Messiah and is fulfilled ultimately in Jesus. The ending of Psalm 95 is a solemn warning and a plea to respond appropriately to this great God, this King. The psalmist refers to a particular period in Israel's history when the people refused to listen to God or to remember what he had done for them, even just a few days or months ago. And we can have similarly short memories today. So the challenge to listen and hear spans the centuries. We are as likely to ignore God's voice as our spiritual ancestors were. But we do have the same freedom to make a different choice. C.H. Spurgeon says that we cannot soften our hearts, but we can harden them. I think what he means by this is that we can intentionally choose to ignore what God is saying to us and forget what he has done for us. But only the action of the Holy Spirit in our hearts can make us receptive to hearing and obeying his word. So let's all be praying for that this week.